Welcome back, coin enthusiasts. Today, we're diving deep into the world of United Kingdom 20 pence coins. While these small coins might seem ordinary at first glance, some rare issues have become highly sought-after treasures among collectors. In this video, we're counting down the top 5 most valuable UK 20 pence coins, examining different years, mint marks, and conditions that make each coin stand out. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, this guide will give you a detailed look at some of the most remarkable and collectible 20 pence pieces in UK numismatics. Let's get started. First up, the United Kingdom 20 pence coin dated 1984, specifically focusing on examples found in rusty, corroded, or heavily damaged condition. At first glance, a rusty coin might seem worthless, something to be discarded without a second thought. However, in the world of numismatics, even damaged coins can carry stories, significance, and in some cases, surprising market value. Throughout this video, we will explore the background of the 1984 20 pence, its design and unique features, why collectors sometimes seek out damaged or corroded coins, and how such pieces perform in auctions today, with values discussed in US dollars. By the end of this video, you'll have a much clearer understanding of whether a rusty 1984 UK 20 pence coin is merely pocket change or a small piece of history worth keeping an eye on. To truly understand the 1984 20 pence coin, we need to step back and look at the broader history of the denomination itself. The 20 pence coin was first introduced into British circulation in 1982, making it a relatively young denomination compared to classics like the penny, shilling, or sixpence. Its introduction was part of a modernisation of UK coinage, aimed at creating a smoother range of denominations that worked better with decimal currency. By 1984, the 20 pence had already become familiar to the public, frequently used in everyday transactions such as bus fares, small purchases, and vending machines. The year 1984 sits firmly within the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, during a period of economic change and social transformation in the United Kingdom. Inflation, industrial shifts, and evolving consumer habits all shaped how coins circulated during this era. Millions of 20 pence coins were struck in 1984, intended primarily for daily use rather than long-term preservation. As a result, most examples from this year were heavily circulated, exposed to moisture, dirt, and chemical reactions over decades of use. This widespread circulation is one of the main reasons why rusty or corroded examples exist today, despite the coin being made from a copper-nickel alloy that is generally resistant to true rust. The 1984 UK 20 pence coin carries a design that is both practical and symbolic. The coin is heptagonal, meaning it has 7 sides, a distinctive shape that helps it stand out from other denominations and makes it easily recognizable by touch. This shape also reduces confusion with similarly sized coins, an important consideration when the denomination was first introduced. On the obverse, the coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. This portrait shows the Queen facing right, wearing a tiara, and reflects a classic and dignified image that appeared on many UK coins during this period. The inscription around the portrait includes her name and title, reinforcing the authority and tradition of the British monarchy. The reverse of the 20 pence coin displays a crowned Tudor rose, flanked by the date 1984. The Tudor rose is a powerful symbol of England, representing unity and heritage. This relatively simple yet elegant design was chosen to keep the coin visually clean and easily identifiable. Although the coin is composed of copper-nickel, which does not rust in the same way iron does, collectors often use the term rusty to describe coins that show heavy corrosion, discoloration, pitting, or reddish-brown staining. Such damage can result from long exposure to moisture, burial in soil, contact with chemicals, or improper storage. These visual changes can significantly alter the coin's appearance, making each damaged example unique in its own way. When discussing rarity, it is important to separate mintage rarity from condition rarity. The 1984 20 pence coin is not rare in terms of how many were produced, millions entered circulation. However, coins that survive in specific unusual states such as extreme corrosion, striking errors combined with damage, or unusual environmental effects can become conditionally rare. In the collector market, damaged coins are usually less desirable than pristine examples. However, there is a niche group of collectors who actively seek out heavily circulated, corroded, or rusty coins. These collectors value such pieces for the story they tell. A rusty 1984 20 pence coin may have spent decades in circulation, been lost and recovered, or exposed to harsh environments that altered its surface. Each mark and patch of corrosion becomes evidence of the coin's journey through time. Additionally, damaged coins are sometimes collected for educational purposes. They are used to demonstrate how different metals react to environmental conditions, or how improper storage can affect coinage. In some cases, a corroded coin may also reveal minting characteristics more clearly, such as die cracks or weak strikes, which can be of interest to specialists. While demand for rusty coins is limited compared to high-grade examples, it is not non-existent. Online marketplaces and auction platforms occasionally feature damaged UK decimal coins, and they do attract bids, especially when accompanied by a compelling description or unusual appearance. Now let's talk about the aspect that most viewers are curious about: market value. It is important to set realistic expectations when evaluating a rusty 1984 UK 20 pence coin. In average circulated condition, a normal 1984 20 pence is typically worth face value, which is about $0.25 at current exchange rates. However, when the coin is heavily corroded or described as rusty, its value can either decrease or, in rare cases, slightly increase depending on buyer interest, and in most auction scenarios, a rusty or badly damaged example will sell for less than face value, often in the range of $421,000, primarily as a curiosity rather than a standard collectible. That said, some sellers have successfully achieved prices between $316,000 for particularly striking or unusual corroded examples, especially when marketed as extreme environmental damage or interesting corrosion patterns. It is also worth noting that lots containing multiple damaged coins can sell for higher combined prices. For example, a small group of corroded UK decimal coins from the 1980s might fetch $214,000 as a study lot. While this does not represent significant monetary gain, it does show that there is a small but consistent market for such items. True auction highlights occur when a damaged coin also features a mint error or anomaly. In such cases, values can climb higher, sometimes reaching $113,000, though this is rare and highly dependent on collector interest at the time of sale. If you come across a rusty 1984 20 pence coin and are wondering what to do with it, there are several important tips to keep in mind. First, do not attempt aggressive cleaning. Cleaning can strip away surface details and reduce whatever collector interest the coin may have. Even damaged coins should be left in their found condition. Try to identify the cause of the corrosion. Was the coin buried? Exposed to salt water? Stored in a damp environment? Documenting this information can add context and interest, especially if you plan to sell or trade the coin. Consider whether the coin has any additional features beyond corrosion. Look closely for errors, unusual coloration, or patterns that might set it apart from other damaged examples. Photograph the coin clearly from multiple angles if you intend to list it online. Manage expectations. Collecting rusty or damaged coins should primarily be about curiosity, education, and historical appreciation rather than profit. While some pieces may sell for a few dollars, most will not bring significant financial returns. In conclusion, the 1984 United Kingdom 20 pence coin in rusty condition is a fascinating example of how everyday objects can take on new meaning over time. While it is not rare in terms of mintage, its heavily damaged state can make it conditionally interesting to certain collectors. The coin's history, distinctive heptagonal shape, and symbolic design connect it to a specific era of British decimal coinage, while its corrosion tells a personal story of circulation and survival. From a market perspective, values in dollars are generally modest, ranging from cents to a few dollars at most, but the true worth of such a coin often lies beyond price. It represents history, chemistry, and the passage of time all in one small object. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or a casual collector, examining coins like the 1984 20 pence reminds us that even the most ordinary change can carry extraordinary story. Next up, the 1994 United Kingdom 20 pence coin in circulated condition. You might look at a worn 20 pence and simply see loose change, but for collectors and monetary historians, even everyday coins like this have stories to tell, stories of economic history, minting decisions, wear patterns, and yes, market value. In this video, we're going to explore everything from the background of the 20 pence denomination to what makes the 1994 issue unique, why collectors might be interested even in circulated pieces, how these coins are valued in US dollars, and practical tips for collectors who want to make smart decisions when buying, selling, or simply holding onto coins like this. By the end of this video, you will have an incredibly thorough understanding of the UK 1994 20 pence coin, far beyond what you'll find in most books or short web listings. Whether you're a beginner who's just started noticing coins in your change, or a seasoned hobbyist looking to deepen your appreciation of British decimal coinage, this video is for you. So let's get started. To appreciate the 1994 20 pence coin, we need to understand the broader context of UK decimal currency. The United Kingdom decimalised its currency on the 15th of February, 1971, moving away from the old pounds, shillings, and pence system that had been in place for centuries. Decimalisation was a major shift in British monetary history, intended to simplify transactions, accounting, and public understanding of money. The 20 pence denomination itself was introduced later, on the 9th of June, 1982. It filled the gap between the 10 pence and 50 pence coins, providing a more flexible and convenient denomination for everyday commerce. The UK government and the Royal Mint recognised that decimal currency needed to be practical for all kinds of transactions, from buying a newspaper to catching a bus, and the 20 pence coin was part of that continued evolution. By 1994, the 20 pence had been in circulation for over a decade. Millions of these coins were minted and entered day-to-day use throughout the United Kingdom. It was a period marked by steady economic growth and relative stability. While earlier years of decimalisation were focused on public adoption and minting logistics, by the mid-1990s the system was fully integrated into the country's economy. As such, coins from this period, including the 1994 issue, are plentiful, but plentiful doesn't mean uninteresting. Even common coins like the 1994 20 pence can tell us something about the era in which they circulated. They show the wear of everyday commerce, the design choices of the Royal Mint, and the economic life of a nation transitioning into the digital age. These coins lived in pockets and purses, travelled overseas with tourists, were used in vending machines, and stayed in tills across the country. Their physical condition today, especially in circulated condition, reflects that history of use. The 1994 United Kingdom 20 pence coin has several design elements that make it immediately recognisable. Firstly, its shape is distinctive. The coin is heptagonal, meaning it has 7 sides, but not just any 7-sided shape. It is a curved heptagon, also known as an equilateral curve heptagon, which makes it uniquely tactile. This design helps it stand apart from other coins by feel, which was especially important in the days before electronic payments became widespread. On the obverse of the coin, you'll find the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II. In 1994, the portrait featured was the 4th definitive coinage portrait of Her Majesty, designed by Raphael Maklouf. This portrait depicts the Queen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, an image that was used on UK coins from 1985 through 1997. The inscription around the portrait reads Elizabeth II DG Reg FD, followed by the year, which stands for Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. The portrait and inscription together affirm the constitutional role of the monarchy in British coinage. The reverse of the 1994 20 pence coin shows the classic crown Tudor rose, a symbol deeply rooted in English history. The Tudor rose represents unity, the joining of the houses of Lancaster and York after the Wars of the Roses in the 15th century. Surrounding the rose is the date, 1994, clearly stamped at the bottom. This simple yet elegant design was created by Christopher Ironside, whose work defined much of modern British coin imagery during the late 20th century. The coin's composition of cupronickel, an alloy of copper and nickel, gives it durability, resistance to corrosion, and a silvery color that distinguishes it from bronze coins of lower denominations. However, like all circulating coins, it shows wear over time, leading to variations in surface texture and luster, especially in circulated condition. One of the key things to understand is that the design elements themselves, the portrait, the Tudor rose, and the heptagonal shape, are consistent across most examples of the 1994 issue. What varies between coins is condition, which directly affects their appeal to collectors. A coin that has been in circulation for 30 years will show wear in a way that tells a story. Scratches, nicks, smoothing of design elements, and patina development all reflect its journey through the hands of the public. When we talk about rarity, it's important to distinguish between mintage rarity and condition rarity. The 1994 20 pence is not rare in terms of mintage. Millions of these coins were produced by the Royal Mint, and many remain in circulation today or tucked away in coin jars around the world. That means if you found a 1994 20 pence in your pocket or change drawer, you shouldn't be surprised this coin was made to be used. However, condition rarity is a different matter. Coins are graded on a scale from poor to mint state uncirculated, with countless nuanced gradations in between. When coins are in circulated condition, they have been used in everyday transactions. The degree of wear varies based on how much they've been handled. Some circulated coins may be lightly worn, with design details still relatively sharp. Others may be heavily worn, with significant smoothing and loss of detail. Collectors often seek out coins in higher circulated grades, especially when the coin is older or has historical significance. While the 1994 20 pence isn't considered a key date in the UK decimal series, there is still a consistent interest among collectors for well-circulated pieces that show attractive patina and even wear. In particular, coins with unusual colouring, toning, or wear patterns can attract attention. For example, a 1994 20 pence with a rich, even toning might be preferred over one that looks dull and lifeless. It is also worth noting that error coins with striking mistakes can be highly sought after, even in circulated condition. While rare error 20 pence coins from 1994 do exist, they are not common. These could include off-center strikes, double strikes, or weak strikes, and when authenticated, can command premiums in the marketplace. That said, for most circulated 1994 20 pence coins, rarity is not the primary value driver. Instead, it's condition appeal. Coins that show uniform wear, with design elements intact and legible date and inscriptions, will generally be more desirable than those that are overly worn, scratched, or damaged. Now let's talk about one of the questions many of you will be here for. What is the market value of a circulated 1994 UK 20 pence coin in today's dollars? The short answer is that for most circulated examples, the value is quite modest, but context and condition matter more than you might expect. As of early 2026, the face value of the 20 pence coin is approximately $635,000, based on standard currency exchange rates between the British pound and the US dollar. This means that a typical circulated coin is worth roughly $0.25 if sold purely for its monetary face value. However, the coin's collector value can be slightly higher, depending on condition, and most online marketplaces and auction platforms. A standard circulated 1994 20 pence typically sells for around $434,000. Coins showing light circulation where the design is still clear and details like the Tudor rose petals are distinguishable tend to be on the higher end of this range. Those that are more heavily worn, with significant smoothing or contact marks, will be closer to face value. Occasionally, coins with attractive toning or unusual surface characteristics may sell for $432,000 or slightly more, especially if the listing is marketed to collectors who appreciate aesthetic appeal. These sales aren't the norm, but they do occur, particularly when the coin is photographed well and presented with a clear description. If a circulated coin also exhibits an error or anomaly, values can climb higher. For example, 1994 20 pence coins with die cracks, misstrikes, or off-center features even after years of circulation can fetch $324,000 or more in specialized auctions where collectors recognize the error and are willing to bid competitively. It's also worth mentioning that sets of coins, where a collector groups several circulated 20p coins from the 1990s together as a study lot, can sell for $221,000 or more, depending on the aggregation and overall condition of the set. These lots attract buyers who want a slice of decimal coinage history rather than a single piece. And summary, while the vast majority of circulated 1994 20 pence coins won't make you rich, they do hold collectible value above face value, and certain examples can earn modest premiums when sold thoughtfully. Whether you're just starting your coin collection or you've been collecting for years, here are some valuable tips to help you make the most of coins like the 1994 UK 20 pence. Understand grading basics. Learn the difference between grades like good, very good, fine, very fine, and extremely fine. Even small differences in wear can affect a coin's desirability and price. A coin that still shows clear details on the Tudor rose and portrait will usually be more valuable than one where those elements are nearly smooth. Avoid cleaning coins. It's tempting to try to brighten up a dull coin, but cleaning usually does more harm than good. Abrasive cleaning can scratch the surface and remove original toning, which collectors often value. Let the coin's natural condition speak for itself. Document what you know. If you purchased a coin with notes about where it came from or what makes it interesting, keep that information with the coin. Provenance and context can add appeal to buyers. Use reliable platforms when buying or selling coins online. Use well-known auction sites or numismatic marketplaces where you can see seller ratings, buyer feedback, and detailed photos. This helps ensure you get fair prices. Watch auction trends if you're planning to sell. Monitor completed auction listings to see what similar coins have actually sold for, not just what sellers are asking. Seek out error coins carefully. If a coin appears to have an error, seek authentication from a reputable numismatic authority before assuming it's valuable. Not all anomalies are significant. Handle with care. Always handle coins by the edges to avoid transferring oils or dirt from your fingers onto the surface. Store properly. Store your coins in a dry, cool place, ideally in acid-free holders or albums designed for coins. Proper storage helps preserve condition over time. And closing, the 1994 United Kingdom 20 pence coin in circulated condition may not be the rarest nor the most valuable coin in the world, but it is a fascinating piece of economic and cultural history. Its distinctive heptagonal shape, its rich connection to British decimalization, its elegant Tudor rose design, and its decades of use make it a coin worthy of appreciation. For most collectors, these coins hold modest monetary value, often selling for a bit more than face value depending on condition, grading, and collector interest. Yet, they tell a larger story about everyday life in the UK during the 1990s, and they remind us that numismatics isn't just about rare treasures. It's about appreciating the coins that circulated in the hands of millions. Whether you're adding a 1994 20 pence to your collection because you found one in change, or because you spotted an intriguing auction listing, we hope this video has given you a deeper understanding of what makes this coin meaningful. Remember, collecting is as much about the journey as the destination, and every coin has a story to tell. Next up, the United Kingdom 20 pence coin dated 1983, examined specifically in fine condition. While the 20p coin may seem like a common denomination that many people have handled countless times, certain years and conditions hold far more intrigue than meets the eye. The 1983 issue is one such example, a coin that sits at an interesting crossroads of history, minting evolution, and collector demand. In this video, we will uncover the background of the 1983 20 pence, examine its unique physical characteristics, discuss its rarity and appeal to collectors even in damaged condition, and analyze its auction market value in US dollars. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist, a casual collector, or someone who has recently discovered an old coin in a drawer, this comprehensive guide will give you a clear understanding of why the 1983 UK 20p deserves attention in today's collector market. Stay with us until the end, because we will also share practical tips for collectors and conclude with key takeaways that can help you decide whether this coin should be part of your collection. To truly appreciate the 1983 United Kingdom 20 pence coin, we must first look at the broader historical context of the denomination itself. The 20 pence coin was introduced into British circulation in 1982, making it one of the newer additions to the UK's decimal coinage system. Its introduction came as part of a modernisation effort by the Royal Mint, aimed at simplifying transactions and providing more flexible denominations for everyday use. Before the arrival of the 20p coin, British currency relied heavily on combinations of smaller coins to make up certain values, which was often inconvenient in daily commerce. The 1983 issue represents only the second year of production for the 20 pence denomination. Coins minted during the early years of a denomination often attract collector interest because they reflect the initial design standards, production techniques, and public reception of the new coin. In 1983, the United Kingdom was under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, whose portrait appears on the obverse of the coin. This was a period marked by economic adjustment, evolving monetary policy, and continued modernization of British currency. The Royal Mint produced the 1983 20 pence primarily for circulation, meaning millions of coins were struck and released into everyday use. However, not all coins survive equally over time. Circulated examples, especially those that remain identifiable and collectible decades later, offer insight into how the coin was used, handled, and preserved. A coin in fine condition typically shows moderate wear but retains clear design details, making it especially appealing to collectors who value authenticity and history over pristine perfection. One of the most distinctive aspects of the United Kingdom 20 pence coin is its seven-sided, or heptagonal, shape. This unusual design was revolutionary at the time of its introduction and remains a defining characteristic of the denomination. The shape was carefully engineered to ensure that the coin could be easily distinguished by touch, making it accessible for visually impaired users while also preventing confusion with other denominations. The 1983 20 pence retains this iconic shape, which immediately sets it apart from many other world coins. On the obverse, the coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. This portrait, often referred to as the Machin portrait, is one of the most widely used effigies of the Queen and is beloved by collectors for its elegant simplicity. In fine condition, the Queen's facial features, hair detail, and crown remain clearly visible, though some flattening may appear on the highest points due to circulation. The surrounding legend includes the Queen's name and title, which, even with wear, often remains legible on well-preserved examples. The reverse of the coin displays a segment of the royal shield, specifically part of the design that, when combined with other denominations, forms the complete royal arms. This innovative concept linked different coin denominations into a cohesive national symbol. On the 20p coin, the shield segment is bold and geometric, and in fine condition, the lines and angles of the design remain strong and visually striking. The date 1983 appears clearly on the reverse, making identification straightforward for collectors and dealers alike. Another important feature is the coin's composition, which consists of cupronickel. This alloy gives the coin durability and resistance to corrosion, contributing to the relatively high survival rate of circulated examples. The weight, thickness, and metallic composition of the 1983 20 pence are consistent with other early issues of the denomination, adding to its historical authenticity. At first glance, the 1983 UK 20 pence may not appear rare, especially when compared to limited mintage-proof coins or error issues. However, rarity in numismatics is not solely determined by mintage numbers. Instead, it is influenced by factors such as survival rates, condition, demand, and historical significance. While millions of 1983 20 pence coins were minted, far fewer remain today in identifiable, collectible condition. Even coins in damaged or heavily circulated condition can attract collector interest, particularly among those who specialize in date runs, typesets, or early decimal coinage. For new collectors or those on a limited budget, a worn 1983 20 pence provides an accessible entry point into UK decimal coin collecting. Additionally, damaged coins can sometimes reveal minting characteristics or die variations that are less noticeable on pristine examples. It is also worth noting that certain damaged coins, such as those with off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or other mint errors, can be significantly more desirable than standard circulated pieces. While such errors are not common, their existence adds another layer of intrigue to the 1983 20 pence and keeps collectors searching through old coin jars and circulation finds. When discussing the auction market value of the 1983 United Kingdom 20 pence coin, it is important to consider condition, demand, and the platform on which the coin is sold. In fine condition, the coin typically retains enough detail to be visually appealing while still showing honest signs of circulation. This balance often makes fine condition coins attractive to collectors who appreciate both history and affordability. In today's market, a standard 1983 20 pence coin in fine condition generally sells at auction for approximately $116,000, depending on eye appeal, clarity of the date, and overall preservation. Coins with slightly better detail or stronger strikes may reach the higher end of this range, while more worn examples may sell closer to the lower end. Damaged or heavily circulated coins often sell for less, sometimes under $1, especially when offered in bulk lots. However, coins with unusual features, errors, or exceptional provenance can exceed these averages. Proof versions or coins with certified grading may also command higher prices, though such examples are far less common than standard circulation strikes. Market trends indicate that interest in early decimal UK coinage has remained steady, particularly among international collectors who appreciate the distinctive designs and historical context. As more collectors seek to complete date sets or explore transitional periods in British currency, coins like the 1983 20 pence continue to maintain modest but consistent demand. For collectors interested in acquiring or preserving the 1983 United Kingdom 20 pence coin, there are several practical tips to keep in mind. First, always examine the condition carefully. In fine condition, key design elements such as the Queen's portrait, the shield lines, and the date should be clearly visible. Avoid coins with excessive corrosion, deep scratches, or significant bending unless they possess a unique error or historical interest. Consider the source of your purchase. Auctions, reputable coin dealers, and established online marketplaces are generally safer options than unverified sellers. When possible, compare multiple listings to understand current market prices and avoid overpaying. Proper storage is essential for preserving value. Even circulated coins benefit from being stored in protective holders or coin albums that prevent further wear and environmental damage. Avoid cleaning coins, as improper cleaning can significantly reduce collector value. Educate yourself continuously. Understanding the broader context of UK decimal coinage, minting practices, and market trends will enhance your appreciation of the 1983 20 pence and help you make informed collecting decisions. In conclusion, the United Kingdom 20 pence coin of 1983 may appear modest at first glance, but it holds a meaningful place in the history of British decimal currency. As one of the earliest issues of the 20p denomination, it represents innovation in design, accessibility, and monetary reform. Its distinctive seven-sided shape, classic portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, and symbolic shield reverse make it instantly recognizable and historically significant. In fine condition, the 1983 20 pence offers collectors a balance of affordability, authenticity, and visual appeal. While its auction market value in dollars remains relatively modest, its steady demand and historical relevance ensure that it continues to attract interest from collectors around the world. Even damaged or heavily circulated examples have a role to play, serving as tangible reminders of everyday life in early 1980s Britain. Whether you collect for investment, education, or pure enjoyment, the 1983 UK 20 pence is a coin worth understanding and appreciating. Next up, the United Kingdom 20 pence coin, dated 1987. At first glance, the 20p coin may seem like an ordinary piece of everyday change, something that has passed through millions of hands without a second thought. However, for collectors, historians, and investors alike, even a common-looking coin can carry a fascinating story, hidden value, and long-term potential. Today's focus is on the 1987 20 pence coin in fine condition, examining its background, design, rarity, collector demand including interest in damaged or unusual examples, and its auction market value when converted into US dollars. By the end of this video, you will have a clear understanding of why this coin still matters, what influences its value, and how collectors can approach it wisely. The 20 pence coin was first introduced in the United Kingdom in 1982 as part of the ongoing evolution of the decimal currency system that began in 1971. Its introduction filled a practical gap between the 10 pence and 50 pence denominations, offering greater convenience for everyday transactions. By 1987, the 20 pence coin had already become a familiar part of British daily life, circulating widely in shops, buses, and markets across the country. The year 1987 itself is historically significant in the United Kingdom, marking a period of economic change under the late 20th century monetary system, as well as the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, whose portrait graces the obverse of the coin. Coins minted during this era reflect not only monetary value but also the cultural and political identity of Britain at the time. The Royal Mint produced millions of 20 pence coins in 1987, ensuring sufficient supply for circulation, which is one reason the coin is generally considered common. However, common does not mean uninteresting, and for collectors, understanding the context of its production is essential. The 1987 20 pence coin belongs to the early generation of this denomination, featuring the distinctive seven-sided or equilateral curve heptagon, shape that sets it apart from most other world coins. This shape was designed to help visually impaired users distinguish the coin by touch and to prevent confusion with other denominations. The coin was struck in cupronickel, a durable alloy that resists wear and corrosion, contributing to the survival of many examples in decent condition today. In 1987, the Royal Mint followed strict quality standards, but mass production inevitably resulted in variations in strike sharpness and surface quality. These small differences are crucial to collectors, as they directly influence a coin's grade and market appeal. Fine condition examples typically show moderate wear, with major design elements still clearly visible, making them attractive to collectors who want affordable yet presentable pieces from this era point. One of the most notable features of the 1987 UK 20 pence coin is its obverse portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. Designed by Raphael McLouf, this effigy was used on British coins from 1985 to 1997 and depicts the Queen wearing the George IV state diadem. The portrait is elegant and highly detailed, and in fine condition. The facial features, hair texture, and diadem details remain well defined despite light circulation wear. The reverse design, created by William Gardner, features a crowned Tudor rose, symbolizing England and the continuity of the monarchy. The rose is surrounded by a beaded border, and the denomination 20 pence is clearly inscribed. In fine condition, the petals of the rose and the crown's details are still visible, though slightly softened by wear. These design elements, combined with the coin's unique shape, give the 1987 20 pence a distinctive identity within the broader range of UK decimal coinage. When discussing rarity, it is essential to consider mintage figures. The Royal Mint produced a substantial number of 20 pence coins in 1987, with mintage figures running into the tens of millions. This high production level means that the coin is readily available in circulated grades, including fine condition. As a result, the coin is not rare in the traditional sense. However, rarity in numismatics is not solely about mintage numbers. Survival rates, collector interest, and condition rarity all play important roles. While many 1987 20 pence coins survive, fewer examples remain in higher grades, and even fewer exhibit unusual characteristics such as striking errors or die variations. These factors can elevate certain specimens above their face value and make them desirable additions to collections. Interestingly, collector demand does not always focus exclusively on pristine coins. In some cases, damaged or unusual examples of the 1987 20 pence coin attract attention, particularly if the damage occurred at the mint rather than through circulation. Mint errors such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or double strikes can significantly increase a coin's value, even if the coin would otherwise be considered damaged. Collectors of error coins often seek out these anomalies, as they provide insight into the minting process and represent unique artifacts. On the other hand, coins that are heavily worn, bent, or corroded due to environmental exposure generally hold little premium value. However, even damaged coins can be of interest to beginners or educational collections, serving as affordable examples of circulation wear patterns and long-term metal behavior. Fine condition is an important grading category in numismatics, especially for circulated coins like the 1987 20 pence. A coin graded as fine typically shows clear evidence of wear on the highest points of the design, but all major details remain visible. For this coin, that means the Queen's portrait is still recognizable, the Tudor rose is intact, and inscriptions are legible. Fine condition strikes a balance between affordability and visual appeal, making it a popular choice for collectors who want representative examples without paying premiums for higher grades. Because many 1987 20 pence coins circulated extensively, finding examples that meet the fine condition standard is relatively straightforward, but consistency in grading is key when assessing market value. Collector interest in modern British decimal coins has grown steadily over the past few decades. While older pre-decimal coins often command higher prices, Decimal issues like the 20 pence are increasingly appreciated for their historical context and design innovations. The 1987 issue benefits from being part of the Makhlouf portrait era, which many collectors view as a classic period of Queen Elizabeth II's coinage. Market trends show that while individual fine condition coins do not fetch high prices, demand remains stable, particularly among collectors completing date runs or assembling typesets. Interest can also spike when public attention is drawn to rare varieties or error coins, indirectly increasing awareness of standard issues like the 1987 20 pence. When converted into US dollars, the auction market value of a 1987 UK 20 pence coin in fine condition is modest but consistent. In most cases, such coins sell for approximately $433,000 at auction or through online marketplaces, depending on overall eye appeal and demand at the time of sale. Coins with better-than-average surfaces or slightly higher grades may reach the upper end of this range. Error coins or unusual specimens can sell for significantly more, sometimes reaching $116,000 or even higher, depending on the nature of the error and collector competition. It is important to note that market values fluctuate based on currency exchange rates, collector interest, and broader economic conditions, so prices should always be viewed as approximate. Several factors influence how much a 1987 20 pence coin will realize at auction. Condition is paramount, as even small differences in wear can affect desirability. Provenance, or documented history, can also add interest, especially if the coin comes from a notable collection. Presentation matters as well. Clear photographs and accurate descriptions help attract bidders. Additionally, timing plays a role, as auctions held during periods of heightened interest in British coinage may yield stronger results. Understanding these factors can help sellers maximize returns and buyers make informed decisions. For collectors interested in the 1987 20 pence coin, patience and knowledge are essential. Always examine coins carefully for signs of damage, cleaning, or alteration, as these can reduce value. Learning to grade coins accurately will help you avoid overpaying and ensure consistency within your collection. Consider focusing on quality over quantity, selecting coins with strong eye appeal even within the fine condition category. If you are interested in error coins, educate yourself about common types and authentication methods to avoid counterfeit or misrepresented pieces. Finally, keep an eye on market trends and auction results to stay informed about current values. While the 1987 20 pence coin is unlikely to become a high-value rarity, its long-term outlook remains positive for collectors who appreciate modern British coinage. As time passes, surviving examples in decent condition may become less common, gradually increasing interest. The coin's distinctive design, historical context, and connection to Queen Elizabeth II's long reign ensure its continued relevance. For collectors building comprehensive sets or exploring the evolution of UK decimal currency, the 1987 20 pence remains an essential piece. In conclusion, the United Kingdom 20 pence coin dated 1987 is a fascinating example of modern British coinage that combines practical design, historical significance, and steady collector interest. While it is not rare in the traditional sense, its value lies in its role within the broader story of the UK's decimal system and the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. In fine condition, the coin offers an affordable entry point for collectors and a reliable piece for long-term collections. Its auction market value in dollars may be modest, but its educational and historical appeal is substantial. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or a curious beginner, the 1987 20 pence coin deserves a closer look. Next up, the 2020 pence piece. To the casual observer, this small heptagonal coin might seem like an ordinary piece of pocket change. To the discerning coin enthusiast, however, it represents an opportunity to explore design, history, rarity, market trends, and potential investment value all wrapped up in a tiny cupronickel disc. In today's video, we'll be focusing specifically on the 2020 pence coin in very fine condition, what makes it special, how it fits into the broader story of UK decimal coinage, what collectors look for, and, perhaps most importantly, what these coins are actually fetching in the auction market when valued in US dollars. Whether you're an experienced numismatist, a budding collector, or simply a curious viewer, this video will give you a comprehensive understanding of why this coin matters and how to approach it from a collecting and value perspective. To appreciate the 2020 pence coin, we need to take a quick journey back to the decimalisation of British currency. The UK officially transitioned to decimal currency on the 15th of February, 1971, replacing the old pounds, shillings, and pence system with a more modern and mathematically straightforward structure. The 20 pence denomination was introduced in 1982 to fill the value gap between the 10 pence and 50 pence coins. Its distinctive equilateral curved heptagonal shape, a seven-sided design, was not just an aesthetic choice, it served a practical purpose. The shape allowed users to easily distinguish the coin by touch from other denominations, While still rolling smoothly through vending machines and coin sorting equipment by the year 2000, the UK had firmly established its decimal currency system, and the 20 pence coin was an everyday part of commerce. Millions of these coins were struck at the Royal Mint for circulation, and the 2000 issue is one of the most commonly encountered dates for collectors and the public alike. Despite its mass production, certain conditions and varieties can make individual coins more interesting and, in some cases, more valuable than face value might suggest. The millennium year 2000 holds additional cultural significance. As the world entered a new century and a new millennium, Britain, like many countries, marked the occasion in various ways even in its coinage. Although the 20 pence didn't receive a special commemorative design in 2000, the fact that it represents a turn-of-the-century issue adds an extra layer of narrative appeal for many collectors. Let's move on to the design elements that make this coin stand out. On the obverse, or head side, you'll find the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, an enduring symbol of British sovereignty and continuity. The 2000 issue features the fourth definitive portrait of the Queen, designed by the celebrated British sculptor Ian Rank Broadley. This portrait was first introduced in 1998 and continued through the early 2000s. It portrays the monarch with a dignified realism and fine detail, and in a very fine coin, the portrait remains crisp and well-defined despite some evidence of light circulation where on the reverse, or tail side, is the celebrated Tudor rose design, a floral emblem entwined with leaves and bounded by a crowned orb. This reverse motif was designed by William Gardner and was used on 20 pence coins from 1982 until 2008, when a new unified reverse style for UK coinage was introduced. The Tudor rose itself carries historical symbolism, representing unity following the Wars of the Roses and embodying England's rich cultural heritage. Physically, the coin measures 21.4 mm in diameter and, as mentioned earlier, is composed of a cupro-nickel alloy 75% copper and 25% nickel, a standard composition for circulating UK coins of the era. The heptagonal shape, while unusual for coins globally, was adopted for its tactile advantages and remains a defining trait of the 20 pence denomination. Before we go any further into the coin's rarity and value, it's important to clarify what we mean by very fine condition. Coin grading can be subjective, but in general terms, a very fine coin exhibits moderate wear on the high points of the design, while most of the finer details remain clearly visible. For the 2020 pence, this means that the Queen's portrait retains good definition around the facial features, hair strands, and diadem. Likewise, the Tudor rose's petals, leaves, and the royal crown above all remain clearly outlined, though they may show some softening or light rubbing from circulation. And very fine examples, the fields, i.e., the flat background areas of the coin, should still be relatively clean, with minimal scratching or contact marks. The overall appearance should be pleasing to the eye, not brilliant like an uncirculated piece, but still sharp enough to convey the design's original artistry. It's worth noting that grading coins is as much an art as a science. Two coins labeled very fine by different collectors or dealers may not be exactly identical in appearance, but they should both convey the sense of having been well used but still well preserved. Most importantly, for valuation purposes, very fine coins are significantly more collectible than lower grades such as good or fine, yet far more affordable than extremely fine or uncirculated examples. At first glance, the 2020 pence might not appear rare. After all, millions were minted for circulation, and many are still readily found in change today. Unlike key dates or era varieties that can command serious premiums, the standard 2020 pence is generally categorized as common in circulated grades, even in very fine condition. Yet this does not mean it lacks collector appeal. Collectors often seek out complete date runs of UK decimal coinage, and the 2020 pence is integral to any such set. Within circulated grades, the very fine examples are less abundant than lower graded coins, simply because not all coins survive in consistently decent condition after years of daily use. Coins that circulated heavily tend to show flattened details, corrosion spots, scratches, or other signs of mishandling issues that fall outside the very fine category and push the grade downward. Interestingly, damaged coins can also attract attention, especially error coins or pieces whose unusual characteristics occurred during the minting process, not from circulation. These varieties might include off-center strikes, die cracks, double striking, or planchette errors. Unlike circulation damage, mint errors can sometimes enhance value because they are inherently limited and often sought after by specialty collectors who focus on anomalies. However, it's crucial to differentiate between genuine mint errors and post-mint damage. Coins bent by machinery, scratched by contact with rough surfaces, or corroded due to environmental exposure generally hold no premium and, in fact, may be less desirable depending on severity. Collectors typically prize error coins only when the anomaly originated at the mint and can be verified or authenticated. In the context of the 2020 pence, error varieties are relatively rare and not widely reported compared to error coins of more popular denominations or older dates. Nevertheless, their existence adds an extra layer of intrigue and opportunity for collectors who enjoy searching through batches of coins looking for that unexpected find. Now let's address the question everyone wants to know: what is the 2020 pence worth? For a 2020 pence coin in very fine condition, the auction market value today when converted into US dollars is moderate but respectable for a modern circulating coin. Most auctions and online sales platforms such as eBay or specialist coin marketplaces, a very fine 2020 pence typically sells for between $1 and $5. This range accounts for normal market fluctuations, buyer interest, and the coin's visual appeal. Coins that have slightly better surfaces within the very fine grade, perhaps with minimal marks and attractive toning, may fetch toward the higher end of this range. It's important to note that these values are far above face value, illustrating that even relatively common coins can have market interest for collectors. However, this coin is not typically sold in large sums at high prices like rarities or error pieces. When error coins or more unusual varieties do appear, their auction results can be significantly higher, sometimes reaching $20, $30, or more, but such outcomes depend on buyer competition, the nature of the error, and the reputation of the marketplace or auction house. Verification and clear photographic documentation are essential when selling or buying such varieties to ensure authenticity and maximize value. Several factors help determine where a given 2020 pence coin will fall within the auction market value range. These include condition and grade consistency. True, very fine coins with balanced wear and well-preserved details consistently fetch better prices than poorly graded or uneven examples. Eye appeal coins with pleasing toning, minimal contact marks, and attractive surfaces are more desirable to collectors. Market conditions, collector demand, currency exchange rates, and trends in UK coin collecting influence prices. For example, periods of increased interest in modern British coinage can buoy values across the board. Auction presentation, accurate descriptions, high-quality images, and seller reputation significantly impact how much a coin sells for at auction. Error or variety status, genuine mint errors, especially documented or well-recognized varieties, can command significant premiums over standard issues. If you're considering adding the 2020 pence to your collection, here are some practical tips to make sure you get good value and enjoy the collecting experience. Educate yourself on grading. Learn how to identify very fine versus other circulated grades. The difference may seem subtle, but it dramatically affects value and desirability. Inspect carefully when buying in person or online. Examine coins for scratches, corrosion, and cleaning. Harsh cleaning can damage the metal surface and reduce value. Avoid overpaying because the 2020 pence is generally common. Don't overestimate its value based on rarity alone. Set a reasonable price range before purchasing. Learn about error coins if you suspect an unusual example. Consult reference guides or experienced collectors to verify whether an anomaly is a genuine mint error. Diversify your collection. Instead of focusing on a single coin, consider building date runs or themed sets. The 2020 pence is a great component in a UK currency collection. Keep records, maintain documentation of your acquisitions, including where and when you obtain them, as this can help track value changes over time. While the 2020 pence coin is not destined to become a high-value rarity in most cases, it holds steady appeal for modern coin collectors and enthusiasts of British numismatics. Its place in the history of UK decimal currency, attractive design, and role within date-run collections ensure it will continue to be collected and traded. As surviving circulated coins gradually diminish in number, especially those in better condition, the relative scarcity of well-preserved examples may gently increase demand and market interest over the long term. In summary, the United Kingdom's 2020 pence coin is a fascinating and worthwhile piece for collectors at all levels. In very fine condition, this coin offers a blend of historical context, design interest, and modest market value when viewed in US dollars. While it may not command the high premiums seen with rare or error coins, it remains a popular and meaningful collectible within the broader world of British numismatics. By understanding its history, design, collector demand, condition grading, and auction trends, you can approach collecting this coin with confidence and enjoyment. Thank you for watching, and if you found this video informative, please like, comment, and subscribe for more in-depth coin discussions and collecting insights.